falling. Are you with me now? And what are preachers in Adventism, Seventh-day Adventism? What are the evangelicals and the Catholics now saying? What must be done to preserve God's standard in America? Finish it. Let's go to the voting booth. Let us legalize morality by law. Are you see? Let us remove the gap, the divide between church and state. Let's unite what now? Church and state to legalize morality, to preserve God's standard. With their good intention, they are breaking God's law. Uzzah. So who are the modern day Uzzahs today? Did God smite Uzzah? Yes. So what is God going to do to ministers, preachers who say statesmen must listen to churchmen, churchmen must influence statesmen to legalize morality, to preserve God's standard? Like Uzzah, they might be smitten. They will be smitten if they don't change. 1 Chronicles 13. My time is running. Mark these verses. Verse 6, verse 7. I want to read verse 7 just for emphasis. Verse 7. Everyone together, let's read together what it says. And they carried the ark of God in a what cart? Why a new cart? Could this represent the new organization? Could this represent a new way of doing things? Could this represent the emerging church principles within Seventh-day Adventism? A new cart. Wait a minute. Why did God smite Uzzah again? Let me ask you this question. What did God instruct Moses to instruct the priests? How were the priests to carry God's ark? On their shoulders, not in a cart. On their shoulders. Question: if we want to preserve God's ark of the covenant, God's law, typically where must we carry God's law? On our shoulders. When you carry something on your shoulders, do you lift it up? Do you uplift it? So how do we preserve God's standards in America and around the world? Uplift the law of God, the standards of God, the reforms of God, by proclaiming the three angels' messages. But because we have laid aside the proclamation of the everlasting gospel, the three angels' messages, now we are hearing, in order to preserve God's standards in America, Seventh-day Adventists, it's okay to go to the voting booth. Cast your ballot for either Trump or Hillary. How many voted for Trump? I wonder, what if Trump is the president when the Son of the Law is passed? What if Trump allows what God says must not be done and you voted to put him into office? Look at this. This is A.T. Jones. He says this. Watch carefully. The American Sentinel, 1898. He says this. Together, what it says. People, come on. People who think they ought to legislate upon religious matters should remember that a good motive did not protect Uzzah when he put forth his human hand to steady the ark of God. So when Seventh-day Adventists tell you it's okay to vote to restore morality in America, when God says don't vote for politicians, they are like Uzzahs. And what happened to Uzzah? Did he have a good intention? Did that preserve him? It says, bottom paragraph, it says, come on, there is what? There is no need of human legislation to enforce the law of God than there was for Uzzah of old to put forth his hand to steady the ark of God, for which Uzzah was immediately struck dead. Listen to this, my friends. Just a few weeks ago, headline on MSNBC, why Trump keeps focusing on the Johnson Amendment. He says, I'm going to repeal it and to give the voice back to the churches, to influence politicians, to legalize morality. This is why Trump was brought into office. Let's read this carefully. It says, why does Trump want to change this? Why? Let's read the answer. Basically, because the religious right told him to. So why did Trump get into office? It says, but why does the religious right want this? Answer. Because some of the right still dream of creating a church-based political machine. Am I a mere alarmist? Does God's word stand for truth? Amen. A church and state political machine. Church machine. It says this Mr. Barry Lynn from the Americans United for a separation of church and state said this week, the idea of Trump repealing the Johnson Amendment would be, what friends? Short-sighted, reckless, and corrosive to religious life. The Republican platform seeks to turn America's houses of worship into a miniature political action committees. I can't imagine a more disruptive idea for our nation's religious community. They can see what's coming. And who is telling us to vote for politicians? Who said we must vote for Trump? Ben Carson, a professed Seventh-day Adventist. Is he a Uzzah today? We want conservative Supreme Court justices, said Ben Carson. We want a man that would legalize morality in America because God's standards are falling in America. He may have a good intention, but so did Uzzah. Look at this. Not only Ben Carson, even our schools are telling us to go vote. Andrews University. Even Doug Batchelor. Should a Christian vote? He said yes. I wonder for whom. Look at this. Even Kenneth Cox. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 5th paragraph. He says in his letter, but we all do need to exercise our right to vote on Tuesday, November 8th. Are these men modern day Uzzahs? I hope they change. Look at this, my friends. November 10th. What's the headline here, friends? It says, evangelicals and the Supreme Court. Why it may have what? Wayne Grudem, Franklin Graham. Are these your heavyweights over in Babylon? Yes. Eric Metaxas, Jerry Falwell, and James Dobson all cited the court in justifying their support for Trump. Uzzahs syndrome. Look at this. Albert Mueller. Headline, Christians voted for whom? Trump, because he opposes. I wonder what may happen to the Seventh-day Adventist hospitals supporting abortion. I wonder who they voted for. It says Albert Mueller. He says, watch, they also voted, let's read second sentence. They also what? Voted for Trump. Why? Because of any number of other major moral issues, church and state. Do you see it's time to be a fruit? Do you see it, friends? And what is on our minds as was on the minds of those present true disciples? So-called strife. Who shall be the... Look at this, my friends. Look at this Jesuit magazine. Oh, I can't spend much time here. It says the church, the Catholic Church and Protestants, evangelicals, the church, they said, has an important role to play as the next 4 years of Mr. Trump's presidency unfold. Listen to this carefully. The church must offer what? Clear and vigorous what? moral guidance, the church must also offer the wisdom of Catholic social teaching to help what? Shape proposals. Is this not church and state? Oh, it says the church must encourage Catholics to find practical solidarity with their whom political opponents sharing worship. Church and state. Mr. Trump. Look at this. I won't read all of this. Just skip on right here. Just these. Headline. Cardinal Burke says Trump's victory is a what? It's a wake-up call to U.S. political leaders. Who is saying this? Second tagline. The patron of the sovereign military order of Malta said, oh yes, a Jesuit, said Catholics need to continue to make their presence felt in what? He says this, watch, he says this, blue words, he says, Mr. Trump has a great disposition to listen to the church's position on the moral law. The Jesuit said, last sentence, it is a hopeful sign that Trump is now in office. Look at this. Headline, November 10th, 2016. The Catholic Church now, since Trump is in office, can play vital role in healing the wounds in the nation. Do we have much more time? No. It's time to be a fruit. Look at this, my friends. It says, Mr. Trump names how many? He names 34 members to his Council of Catholic Advisors. I want to ask a question. Did not Sister White prophesy that? Yes. That the Jesuits would climb up into offices right here. GC, great controversy, 235, first sentence. The Jesuits, let's read that, work their way, come on, into what? Offices of state, climbing up to be what, friends? The counselors, the advisors of kings, and shaping the policy of nations. Look at this, just yesterday, November 11th, headline, New York Times, Vice President-elect Mike Pence to do what? To take over Trump transition effort, bottom section. Mr. Mike Pence names, or Trump names, Pence to lead what? It says, my guess is that Mr. Pence rather, my guess, Mr. Pence will be one of the most involved day-to-day managerial vice presidents in the history of the republic. Who is Mike Pence? A Jesuit posing as he's an evangelical. How could you profess you left popery, papacy, the Roman Catholic Church, now you are